You're listening to The Disc Golf Show. You're listening or watching The Disc Golf Show, episode number 26 for December 17th. My name is Justin. With me today is this guy.
That's me. It's Nick.
That's right. Nick's here. He won't go away. I'm just kidding. We love having him here. He makes the show, right? It's the both of us. Today we have a super awesome jam-packed show full of stuff. As a matter of fact, we had so much stuff, we had to cut some stuff out. So, without further ado, as they would say, Nick, what do we got up first?
Okay, well, we've got a few things, updates. I don't know if you've been watching any of the social media from Cole Rodolin, but he did that Bryson DeChambeau challenge where Bryson was shipping a golf ball over his house. Well,
right.
Cole Rodolin was doing a Anheuser around like the left side of his house, and he'd been doing it, and finally, mind you, captivating, by the way, completely captivating.
Because how many was it per day that he was throwing?
He was every day. So day one, he had one throw. Day
one,
two,
and then day two, then
so
three.
So
Okay. Yeah.
What was funny though is that there were a few times that there was this little twig of a tree that he clipped, and it was semi in a wide line to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But he hit that a few times. He'd hit basket like a lot of chains a few times, and it kicked out. But day 11, he drained it, dude. And right before he actually videoed that clip, he cut that little twig of a tree down that was in the way. So I think that's ultimately what was holding him back, because that was kind of in the line.
Now you got to go back and cement that thing in.
Right? Yeah.
You can't defy nature.
Yeah. Get a 2x4. You know?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
In addition to that, we had an announcement from Will Schustrick. If you don't know him, which you'd be under a rock, he has been...
Or you're new to this sport. He is the CEO of Prodigy and a professional disc golf player. Touche.
Been playing with Prodigy for a long time, and he just announced that he's actually being promoted to CEO. So I'm curious as to how this will affect Prodigy moving forward. I'm hoping, how they recently addressed the fact of their flashing and all that on their plastics. I don't know if this will better the process as a whole. I'm hoping it does, because I'm sure his standards are pretty high.
Yeah, because coming from a player aspect, and a darn good player at that, I think that's the element that he's going to bring to it.
Yeah, he's a major winner.
I see that improving the company overall because of the player focus, probably more so from his aspects. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, we have a bunch
the revival of Prodigy.
Yeah, we've had about several updates from some of the competitors, some of the pros. Mm-hmm. The next one I wanted to talk about was Drew Gibson. He recently made a post on Instagram that he is, well, if you don't know, again, he's having a kid. And so he's taking, at least this next year for 2025, he's taking a small step back. He's not leaving entirely, but he is going to be playing just about 6 to 8 events throughout the year, because he wants to be there for his new child. So big shout out to him. He did say that he grew up in a single family household, and he doesn't want that to be the case for his new baby. Right. So big shout out, big props to him. Congratulations as well. But he's going to be taking a little bit of a step back next year. Although I'm sure he did state that he will be putting more work into the media aspect, so content, and which he's been doing quite a bit lately with golf and disc golf stuff.
I mean, he'll have plenty of time to do that media content when he's up at like 2 a.m. holding a bottle.
It'll make it.
What else are you gonna do?
Content interesting.
You just kind of you chin the bottle, and then you just
sleep deprivation will make it super fun to watch.
So, boy.
But yeah, so he's doing that. He did make a comment on something else that we'll hit here in a few also. But another good note, pro Paul Ulibarri. He is back in the saddle. He got the all clear from the doctor as to his shoulder being good to go for this next season. So he's back 100% full gear for the 2025 season. So we're excited to see him back in there.
I'm excited to see him back, yeah.
He's leading putting, dude. he's like the best putter over the season. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So that, and then also probably the most, well, not the most. There's a couple big ones here. Isaac Robinson recently made some posts where he's teasing things. So everybody knows that his right now, he's kind of the big ticket item as to will he leave or will he stay with Prodigy, right?
Right.
And it's off season, so he's putting videos up where he's practice putting and everything like that. And he's mentioned, like, look around, you know. But the funny thing is about this look around comment is the fact
always
that
different stuff.
He's putting on a Discmania basket. In the background, there's an Innova box. There's some Discraft plastic on the ground as well.
Okay.
So obviously he's putting in some testing for possible
Lone Star.
that Castoplast. He's going House of Discs.
There we go.
He's going
there
House of Discs.
House of Discs. There we go.
So, and he also
whatever he doesn't have is where he's going.
Exactly.
Huh?
Hey, throwing you way off the track, right?
Right.
He also did another post where he was at the airport. In the background was a Detroit sign, like the ticker, you know, of where the flight is going. Now, was he doing that? Was it his flight, or was he sitting down taking a picture? Because there's a couple manufacturers that are based in Michigan. So, you know, so that's interesting. I don't know where you think he's going to go, but if you know, or if you think you know, let us know down in the comments.
There you go.
Okay, one of the bigger, probably the biggest thing that we discussed last show was Climo. Ken Climo,
the champ,
making the announcement that he's leaving Innova.
Right.
All the rumors are that he's going to Discraft. There's people are saying that he's getting $200,000 to $300,000 a year.
See, so my gut feeling, that little feeling I got last show. I mean, look at that. Discraft?
I mean, it is, but it hasn't been confirmed by anybody, him or the manufacturer yet.
I think if we rewind the tape, you owe me $100. I think. Right?
I don't think that was.
Isn't that what happened
in there? I don't. You're just going to add it in and after post and just go back in there, put that in there?
Why did the episode get pulled? I don't know. It's just, you owe me $100. It'll just be an AI voice like, okay. Yeah.
Just over.
See, you agreed.
My audio.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing that I was speaking with Final Nine, right?
Okay.
The owners. And question. Do you think that possibly it's just if he's let's go with he's signing with Discraft, right? Does that mean he's signing with Discraft and throwing Discraft, or could it mean that he's signing with them for them to make his line of discs, for them to be the manufacturer, but not as a Discraft brand?
You know, that thought hadn't come across my mind. That's possible. That'd be a weird move, but I could see it.
Well, because, DGA is Discraft, right?
Sure.
Millennium's Innova. Like, there's a lot of bigger manufacturers that actually mold for other brands.
So you think maybe Climo's going his own way? Like, you know what? To hell with all the sponsors. I'm my own sponsor. I'm starting my own thing.
I mean, he could.
And then he's just subcontracting out kind of the work.
Yeah.
For his own line of discs to start that.
Yeah, maybe there's a deal there where he does some stuff for. I don't know. I
mean, if anybody could do it, he's got a big enough name to do it.
Right.
For sure. I don't know. That's an interesting angle. I didn't really think about that. Maybe you're onto something. We'll see.
I literally just saw a video of him testing out some new prototypes. So would those be Discraft prototypes, or would they be Climo disc golf prototypes? Because he does have that website now, right? So I don't know. It was just an interesting point of view that came from our buddies over there at Final Nine, Bruce and it got me thinking about that. That's definitely something that could be a possibility.
Could be.
So I don't know. Just another rumor to throw into the rumor mill, right?
All right. One more.
Yeah, exactly. But it will be interesting as to who he ends up sticking with in the end. I don't know, man. Until somebody literally says, until he says, I'm going with so-and-so, or so-and-so says, we've got Ken.
Right. And you're probably not going to see that until at least the beginning of the year anyways.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be within the first month and a half, because then the tour starts up, I think, in March, somewhere around there.
Right. You want to have that settled way before then anyways.
Yeah.
Probably nothing until the beginning of the year. But you know what will happen before the beginning of the year?
What's that?
Hopefully you listening right now, yes, you, or maybe watching, you hit that subscribe button and get us closer to that goal. And when we hit that goal, we're going to be opening up giveaways. So stay tuned for that. Keep watching the videos, because as soon as we hit that mark, we'll be making a video announcement on here and the social media stuff. And maybe we'll tie it to a very special video for all of you for the giveaway. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're real close.
We are.
You can subscribe now and leave later. It doesn't matter, just to get into the... I don't care. I'm not checking.
Get into the
giveaway.
Be like,
hey, John, you subscribed for the giveaway, and then you left. What's the deal, John?
Hey.
I'm not going to check. I'm not going to check. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm not going to check.
We appreciate all the support.
Right.
However
especially you, John.
Maybe. However brief.
Especially you. Right.
So there's been a couple changes or adjustments recently. If you have seen the Pro Tour, it has a tournament that's been in the past called the Des Moines Challenge. And it's usually it's been in the past also presented by TrueBank. That tournament has now changed. It's changed to the Discmania Challenge.
Right.
Now, this also pops up a little question for me here. How do you think, or what do you think about manufacturer? Obviously, maybe right now it's more of a necessity, right? Mm-hmm. But do you feel that that's good for tournaments? The fact that it's the main sponsor is an actual brand, is an actual manufacturer? Or do you think that limits it in some way or form?
I don't think so, because of just how they're doing it right now, right? It's the Discmania Challenge presented by TrueBank, right? And you always have that capability there, right? You know, the whatever event presented by Barbasol or whatever the case may be, right? So I don't think that limits it in any way. As a matter of fact, maybe that's a good way to go, because then you have the familiar name with disc golfers up front presented by the other brand, right? So maybe that's, I don't know, maybe more should go that way. I don't really see it either way hurting. I don't know. It's money. Money's coming in, right? Yeah. So good.
I think it is. It all depends on the manufacturer.
It depends on the manufacturer, correct? And then it might too depend on the event, right? The Ledgestone Open. I mean, there's names that have grown in infamy, if you will. I don't know. I don't really see it hurting either way. I guess what I'm trying to say in a long-winded kind of way is I don't care, because I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
and I think
maybe depending upon the manufacturer, though.
Yeah, I do believe that there's an agreement with the Disc Golf Pro Tour also, where I believe all manufacturers are involved when it comes to product for the tour.
Right.
So I'm hoping that's the case. But yeah, just wanted to make sure that was just... So this year, you will not see Des Moines Challenge. You will see Discmania Challenge presented by TrueBank. PDGA has been making some updates to their rules. The most recent one that popped up in social media was they were talking about not really losing step or jump putts, but pushing them back to 20 meters instead of 10. Now, for me, personally, I think if you're trying to address a problem, you don't move that problem. If you're trying to address it because it's not so easy to prove that they did not make a legal step or jump putt, get rid of it. Don't just move it. because you're still going to have that argument of, well, was it a legal step or jump putt? You're just moving the distance at this point. I like the fact that it's getting moved because the majority of putters out there know, the pros, they can putt from up to 100 feet. You know? So having it pushed back to the 66 foot, the 20 meter mark, I like that for the pros, but I don't like the fact that that's how it's being addressed. I personally think if you're going to try to clear things up when it comes to that, you've got to either say, we're not calling. It has to be released before their foot hits the ground, because the majority of jump putt or step putt tend to release after both feet have been off the ground a little bit, more so jump putts than step putts. But I don't see this as fixing the argument about step and jump putts. I
don't know if it was targeted to fix that argument, though. I don't think you can necessarily say that that's the case, unless they have come out and said somewhere, which I didn't see, which is quite possible, that, hey, we're solving this argument by pushing it back 10 meters. I don't think that was the case. They're probably pushing it back to make it so that the game is, I guess you could say, a little more difficult.
Challenging.
I don't know.
Yeah.
More challenging, because I would say that jumping and putting, and not every case, there's always the outlier, right? The exception to the rule, if you will. But I think jump putting makes it a little bit easier in terms of momentum. And not to say that you can't do it without a jump putt. Probably could, especially at the professional level. But it definitely makes it easier for the momentum, right? So I think pushing it back to 20 meters before you can grab that easier momentum just makes the game a little bit more challenging. I don't see the PDGA coming out with a rule to solve an argument for the, maybe, but at least in this case, I don't see the benefit of doing that, right? Like, oh, there's this argument. What does that argument affect? Absolutely freaking nothing, right? Well, but we can step up the challenge of our game, especially at the professional level, with this rule, right? I could see that.
Yeah. Well, I just know that the step and jump putts, there is the argument of valid or invalid, legal or illegal step and jump putts.
But you see it everywhere. But
the thing is that, okay, I understand that. If it's being addressed as we are just trying to challenge the pros more, and we're not even worried about this argument, which is actually, to me, more of the issue than distance. I think this, again, I like the fact that they're moving the inability, they're limiting the players for putting distance further out because they're so capable. Because any pro stepping from 33, 34 feet is kind of silly, right?
Right.
I just think the argument of the step or jump putt is the legal or illegal argument, and not so much the distance. I think you're making. I
think distance
harder.
Comes into it, though.
I think making it harder, yeah, but the problem is that the argument of players isn't necessarily how far they're able to step or jump putt. It's, hey, this person is leaving the ground and they're making an illegal putt. An illegal putt is much more serious than...
But why is that even an issue to begin with? Because of the distance. If they were 300 feet out and they wanted to step, nobody would bat an eye. It's because they're within a certain range to be considered a putt that people have the problem.
Well, I still think that there will be...
So if you push that distance back, of course there will be. People are going to argue about everything, right?
Yeah.
You could probably step putt from 300 feet out and somebody would have a problem with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're just not going to please everybody, okay? But the reason that you're having the argument is because of the distance. That's the only reason you're having it, because they're within a distance that considers it a putt. Therefore, if somebody steps or jumps or does whatever, now there's this discussion in this argument, right? Well, he stepped. Well,
he's getting too much of an advantage.
Right? Exactly. The advantage is there because of the distance. So if they push that distance back, vicariously, you're resolving a little bit of that argument. You're still going to have it.
Yeah.
You're still going to have it, but at least it makes it more challenging, right?
I wonder if it'll not negate, but lessen the complaints moving
A little
forward.
bit.
Hopefully.
Maybe a little bit.
Hopefully. All right. So another new thing or adjustment challenge, actually, in the long run, is DGPT now has some tour competition. So Luke Humphreys, who is connected directly with GK Productions, they do a lot of the skins matches and stuff like that, right? They're starting their own tour. So GK Pro is basically changing its name, its brand to Go Throw, the Go Throw Tour. There have been some issues that have been brought up. Again, big shout outs to Gibson because he's one of those people that does voice his opinion, similar to Brody Smith. He has stated in one of his recent videos that they have had issues issuing payouts that were issued later than required by the PDGA. So the PDGA apparently has a limited amount of time, 48 hours, in which those payments, if you cash, you should be paid. Now, he does state also, which totally agree with, if you're much more open with the people that you're issuing these payments to and saying, hey, giving them a heads up, hey, we're having some problem with these payouts, it may take a little bit longer than normal, then you're going to be more open to being like, I get it, sometimes things happen, right?
Communicate early and often.
Yeah, you know? And some of these issues have actually gone a couple months, which
Not
is
good.
Which is uncalled for. Like it's like I
some changes need to be made at that point, either to
and they are
who is handling your payouts,
or
whatever the case may be. That needs to be solved because a couple of months, unacceptable.
Yeah,
a week maybe at max. Okay, I could see, but
it's a super bad look.
Yeah, not good.
Super bad look. But yeah, I mean, Gibson commented on that about the new tour that he's actually, as I said before, he's playing 6 to 8 events, right? Pro Tour events. He said he's going to add at least one Go Throw Tour event because he does want to see what it's like in comparison to the Pro Tour, the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Right.
So
I think that this is important, okay? Because as soon as you have competition, right, and this is what this is, competition for a tour, you're going to see improvement in both overall.
I hope
without competition, if one entity has a monopoly, if you will, they can get away with not making improvements and just stagnating, right?
Yep.
So with this, I think you're going to see more innovation and more push to drive each other on their tours, right? Now there have been other tours in the past, and they have been heavily poo-pooed upon. And I hope that this time around that's not the case. To poo-poo just to poo-poo, right? Like, oh, it's not this tour, so yeah, F that tour. Like, I know there's going to be those types, right? And they're just going to complain because it's not their favorite thing, and they don't want change, and they don't want new. But at the same time, those are usually the folks that are like, grow the sport. How?
Yeah.
You know? So it's one of those things. I am glad to see it come, and I think it's a helpful thing. And in the long run, I think you'll see improvement overall if they can both kind of compete and go with each other, right?
I mean, I hope that. Yeah,
We'll see.
So another thing that he had stated also was the fact that
time will tell.
Last year, and I think they removed this requirement, they had said that if you play in the Pro Tour, at least maybe your Pro card, if you have the Pro Tour card, maybe that's what it was. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% positive in the exact situation is. But
you heard it here. Nick said 100% for sure.
They were stating that if you were playing on the Pro Tour, that you could not play non-Pro Tour events.
Gotcha.
Or something to that effect during the Pro Tour. Like if there was a Pro Tour event on that weekend, you could not play in a different. But again, I believe that that's been addressed, and enough players complained about that, saying, hey, you know, like why can't I? I'm a contractor, basically, you know?
Right. Why are you limiting my possibilities?
Yeah. So I believe they've removed that clause. I do hope that, like you said, I hope, again, competition breeds innovation. I hope that this either they can feed off of each other or work in a way that because the Pro Tour has a ton of events now, and I believe the Go Throw Tour is only going to have around 6 events or something like that initially this first year. So it'll be interesting, one, what is different from that tour to the Pro Tour that's currently out, and also what issues that they think are more important to address to make a tour more valuable to the athlete. But I hope it doesn't become a battle at which they take it too personal and degrade in some fashion. You know what I mean? They're taking it too serious, and too much of an issue, saying, oh, well, they're going to take away. Well, why don't you speak with them about it and then work together in a way that it benefits both of you? Because I think having those options, maybe one becomes more of a stepping stone tour, kind of like the Q Series and Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Sure.
Because you can't, as the Pro Tour, I don't think you can concentrate enough on those up-and-comers as you do on the pros, because you're the Disc Golf Pro Tour, right?
Yeah, well, that's your business model.
Maybe the Go Throw Tour becomes more of a more solid version of the Q Series, or maybe it flip-flops, because you don't know. You know, the sport, the tour portion of the sport, yes, like you said, we had the National Tour, we had the World Tour, and stuff like that, but the sport tour-wise is still very young. So I don't know. I'm curious as to how this will affect each other this next year. It'll be super interesting and super entertaining, I think, to see which one actually people lean towards, especially pro-wise and not just viewer-wise, though viewers are probably the more important group because that's where you make your money from.
True.
But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big chunk of news that a whole new tour is coming out, because we haven't seen that since the World Tour, I think.
True. All right, Nick, here we go. I'm going to ask you the question this time. I'm flipping the script. All right?
What's that?
Here's the question. Do you feel payouts should be split equally between MPO and FPO? Or should it be adjusted to percentage of competitors in the divisions? Go.
Why? Why did you ask me? I wanted to ask you that. No. I don't think they should be split equally. I think what value you bring to whatever that sport is, or whatever the eyes that you bring, that's what constitutes the value of that division, and the value of which that division should prosper. I think that it's great that they play together. Personally, I would like to see an FPO tour and an MPO tour. That's what I would like to see.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Will that happen? I think maybe a long ways down the road it will. Right now, we're kind of still helping each other. And you do have a lot of couples where it doesn't make fiscal sense to split and go to 2 different areas. I mean, here's the thing, what you could do to make it that way, but not split, is you have the FPO tour and the MPO tour, and you have them at 2 different locations in the same area for these places. Obviously, there's a lot of work in the back that would need to take place to find the correct location. A lot of
logistics.
Courses,
That's what I was going to say. Like, in terms of that, the only way to make that viable is to make it financially viable.
Yeah.
So the sport's going to have to grow a little bit, bring a little bit more money in to make it possible, right?
I don't think it's fair to 100 and 10 MPO players all playing for, let's say, 50 grand, right? And then you have 60 FPO players playing for the same amount of money.
Right. It goes along with any sport, really. That question is ultimately answered by what we see today.
Yeah.
Right? If your sole kind of income for that event, and therefore the payouts that you can have, are based around basically the entertainment of that medium, whoever is bringing in more to that entertainment would get that portion of their payout, right?
Yeah.
So if MPO is bringing in this and FPO is bringing in this, then that's how you split that up.
Yep.
Right. That's what makes it fair. It wouldn't be fair to combine it and then just split down the middle and give it to both, because that's not how it works, right?
Yeah.
Even if it was the other way around, let's say for some reason FPO brought in way more attention than MPO, I still would not be in favor of splitting it down the middle.
Nope.
You give the lower payout to the MPO in this case and the higher one to the FPO, because they're the ones that brought in those eyeballs and those advertising dollars to your thing, right? And you see this everywhere with basketball and all kinds of stuff, right? So it just is what it is. It's entertainment, and that's what you base the payouts off of. End of story. It's not even a discussion past that.
Yeah, and I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to help the FPO division.
Absolutely, and I think they should, but not that way.
Yeah, but not at the detriment of the other division.
Expense of MPO, right? Yeah. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul. That doesn't make sense. So.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know. It will be interesting. The new tour, if maybe they address that. Also, on another really quick note, could be not so quick, but we'll keep it quick. Okay. Will they go along the same lines and rules of requirements for division participants?
I don't know. Be interesting to see. I would see. I don't know.
Like who's able to play in certain divisions?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. Can people that identify as one gender or the other can they play on in whatever? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It depends on what they rule. I can see it going either way. There's an outcome I would prefer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have a good feel for one way or another how it's going to go. And ultimately, it's just going to come down to when they say, that's when we'll know. So. And
we'll know.
Here soon. Yeah. Yeah, here real soon. Here soon. That's true.
Before we move on, I did want to do a quick request. If you haven't checked it out, we did just recently post a unboxing video of the Disc Golf Pro Tour 10th season supporter box. So if you haven't checked that out or would like to know what's in those boxes, it's worth what they're charging now.
Box is different.
Yep, exactly. So check out that video. This is probably one of our quickest episodes.
Absolutely. So with that, let's wrap up this episode. But a couple of reminders up front. How about saving some money? Would you like to save some money? I'd like to save some money. And we here at the Disc Golf Show provided you a way to do that with collaboration, I guess we'll say, with Upper Park Disc Golf. Go to Upper Park Disc Golf, do some shopping, and when you're finally getting ready to check out, make sure you use the code Disc Golf Show, all one word, to save yourself 15% off of your entire purchase. Save yourself some money. Holiday season's here. You're going to buy some gifties. Save some money on it, at least. This episode was brought to you by Final 9 Sports, at least in part, with their 2 locations. And I know I didn't say this up front, but I'm going to say it now, okay? One in Rockland, one in Orangeville. And if you're not around here, support local, because that's the message. If you'd like to email the show, do that at theshow@discgolfshow.com and nick@discgolfshow.com for all of your hate mail. It keeps him cozy at night. The blanket of letters that he prints out and reads and drifts off to sleep reading You Suck. That pretty much does it for us for the show. Can't wait to see you guys next time. And remember, in disc golf, as in life, aim high and let it fly.